Good morning, crew. Hey guys, so yeah, it's morning stream, getting serious into the art production for Elemental Key. We are going to continue our work today on, what page is this? Page 6. So yeah, there you go. In a future video last night, like 7 hours ago, I did a fumbling walkthrough of some of the front end mechanics of this book, about gaining disciplines and stuff like that. But I'm going to be working on the back end. I'll be doing a walkthrough on the mechanics at the back end probably this weekend, talking about like tap and tap locking mechanics, and all the different optional class features like the ACFs that you can grab into this that complement like the color mana mechanics for the elements of blue, red, and green that work equally well with the four elements of air, earth, fire, water. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to be doing some overdoodles. So I'm going to drop in some character art here, and I am looking at Ray, Raph, Flare, Blip. All right, so I'm going to do some overpainting. Ray is separate. Here, there. All right, so I'm going to get rid of the fire. I'm going to get rid of the ray for now. I'm going to focus on this character. So, as is the tradition, we're going to duplicate this layer, and then we're going to be bold and merge the group. And I'm going to be smart and get rid of the background, so I'm only working with the character. Like, the first thing I need to do is like resize this ridiculously sized shoe. Clean that stuff up. There, more manageable. So we'll merge that down. What is it? 7 a.m. here in Seattle. So I'll just crack out for about an hour before I go corporate. And I don't think I'm going to be around later on tonight, but if I end up taking I've got adventure design work tonight, which I am not currently streaming, but I'll be streaming all the art production for that once I get to it. So I think I have adventure design on my plate, as well as summoning and mass combat mechanics on my plate this evening, and I am not yet at a place where I am live streaming design, mostly because live streaming the design, unless it's a very small project, can be super tedious. Like the brainstorming process doing live, that's pretty fun. But actually sitting there watching somebody mash over like combing Wizard of the Coast documents for viable code, quote code, to be able to pull from DMG, Xanathar's, Tasha's, and the player's handbook to actually make the words sound like they're using Wizard of the Coast speak. That's pretty boring content. It's the design and the ideation process that I think people really dig on stream, and I will get to a point where I do ideation on stream. But if you end up jumping on the channel while I'm running live here for the next hour, you're certainly welcome to ask me anything. Just give me a shout out. Classes and Constructs, Fry Minis, Instructor Boy, Dungeoneer Pack, Wally. Y'all are fantastic. Thanks for being a part of my development. I'm still putting coffee in my blood, so. We'll see how far I get and how fun it is. The quick spiel, you know, I don't see color. It's monochromatism, so I literally don't have any cones in my eyes. I'm incapable of processing color. So the way that people that don't see color can paint in color is with Photoshop, GIMP, or any other digital tool that provides you with an RGB scale. All I gotta do is import an image that I want to use as a document, scroll over, use my eyedrop tool to acquire the color. Like for example, what am I looking at in here? Yeah, so that's using the same color. See, this is the color here, and this is the color here. So I can use this to find gradations, like a highlight here that's a little bit brighter, and then I can come in here and like find shadow that's a little bit darker, and I can use that to overpaint and simulate color that I don't have the privilege of seeing, but my clients don't seem to complain. So it's a miracle of science to be able to, and technology, to be able to play in the color space, even though I don't have the privilege of enjoying it myself. So big appreciation to my friend Larry in Arizona, who challenged me to figure it out, just to figure out how could I paint in color. Anyway, this is a mental challenge. Love that guy. Larry, you're the bomb. There's a special place in heaven for people that challenge their friends to be more than they can be. I'm just gonna futz around with this. I don't really have a game plan. I'm a futzer and I'm a pixel pusher. Obviously, I could dive into being a little bit more efficient by just doing paint over and stuff like that. But this is what I enjoy. I'm gonna up the strength so that I can get a little bit more distance per pixel. Epidemic sound, absolutely love it. It is just doing work. How's my last one doing? Pixel. Yep, that's doing what it do. Sorry, I'm just checking my stuffs. All stuff seems to be checked. So I'm just cleaning up the edges of this right now, just so I can help better understand the form, to inform future decisions I make about where I'm going with this. Where am I at? There I am. think there's a general consensus that it seems silly that monks are limited on what kind of weapons that they can use. So one of the easy design decisions was to open it up to all the martial weapons, which is there's an interesting design space there because martial it's generally believed. I think the community generally agrees that the D4 starting point for the monks martial arts die is a little low powered in comparison to where other things are at. So what I ended up doing to adjust for that space was leaving the D4 in place, but allowing them to have access to martial weapons that can do, say, like, heavy properties that can do up to 2d6 damage. That is proper calibration to use with martial arts dice. So instead of leaving the weapons limited on what you can use with the character, instead the solution is expand what weapons they can use, but leave the martial arts die at that low end damage threshold. That opens up a lot of fun stuff, like a monk being able to use Great Weapon Master. Makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't know, like there's not a lot of people who play with great swords or halberds, daisho, large melee weapons. But they are absolutely a part of the combative, quote unquote, martial arts. Like even a naginata, which is basically a glaive, is pretty iconic for these depictions of martial artists in feudalism, in the feudal days, as it were, feudal days. It just doesn't make any sense to not have that flavor incorporated into the mechanics of what these characters are supposed to be able to do. But having, like, say, a D6 at first level, that starts treading on the rogue's design space. So you as much as I want to up the low end damage for the monk, again, the best way I found to resolve that low damage is to keep their die small and let the weapon get bigger. So be welcome to disagree, and I'm certainly open to you ignoring that alternate class feature, because these are all just alternate class features, different ways to play with the monk. I'm not saying the monk is wrong. I'm just saying I don't like the flavor, and if you play with the balance of how the mechanics interact, you can find new flavor without breaking the game. So, but yeah, let me know what you think. Be welcome to shout out, tell me I'm wrong. Check out the book anyway, though. Just see what's there that you do like and you don't when it pops up on the guild. Hopefully before the end of the year. Looks like I'm curving into it pretty well right now. Man, this one is rough. I am going rough on this one. But yeah, this is the job. Just pushing pixels, doing the art. I think I'm gonna change the design on this. Grab this color here. Here. Fill that in. I love this song. Yeah, so I'll futz around on this guy for now. I still got 45 minutes. I can play around with this guy for a while. get her to a place where I'm happy with her. So, and then I can spend an hour on her ice foe, and then I can come back down and clean these guys up. It doesn't take more than an hour or two for each of these guys. And if I was a better artist, I'm sure I could get it done faster, but it's not necessarily about the speed. It's, you know, the journey. What up, yo? Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the drop by. If y'all don't know, Fry Mini, you should be checking out his channel. He's doing a lot of good commentary about showing us previews on the new Strixhaven book. Fry Mini's always got the good scoops. That is good. Yeah, man. Thanks for the swing by, dude. I really appreciate you. There we go. I don't need to worry about the detail on this too much because I'm going to be dropping in the scorching ray on top of it. Oh man, get lit, dude. Get lit. I think maybe I'll put it. That probably makes the most sense. I do like that. Sleek that out a bit. I'm not looking over here. Where am I at? There I am. I keep falling off camera because I'm horrible about it. I should really be like adjusted over further this way because I keep leaning into the screen to see what I'm doing because I'm the absolute worst. But I should actually just be zooming on the screen so I can keep my face in place. And I'm the worst. Don't do what Donnie Don't does. Nudge that there. Nudge that there. Nudge. Uh-oh. There. That feels a little better there. How am I looking there? That looks pretty good. Sorry, come on. I'm still figuring out how to have my stuff set up. So that's it. Yeah, that's good. Cool. I can still see all what I need to do. What up? Yeah, I'm legally blind. I've got 2200 vision. It can't be corrected by glasses. I don't have any cones, so I don't have any color vision, and I can't see close. I can't see far away. I have to physically move my body to be able to see the screen, or zoom in closer. And it's just a horrible habit. But yeah, glasses don't do anything for me. The chromatopsia, or monochromatism, is a fairly rare form of color blindness. So I appreciate the care, though. It's not. I know you say that a lot because you're good people. Streaks. Just trim that down. I'll get to that sort in a bit. Where's my text there? I'm still figuring out how to my layout. What I want my layout to actually look like, so I'm not blocking text, but keeping stuff in form. No, there we go. Cool, that should do. Sorry, still futzing, still getting my setup, still figuring out how to do things, still trying to figure out how to tell people that I'm streaming. All that business. There we go. That feels right. Get in here and mess around with this stuff in here. Get the form figured out a bit. Thank you. Yeah, the scorching ray, the heat effect off of that, I want to make sure I got that good lining going on. So that's why I decided to go with Bollywood for my color references for this character. Nice. I like how that's shaping up. This will be good. There we go. Where did I go? There I am. There we go. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna let that. Oh wait, I need to get the lines in here. I think what really convinced me about D4 martial arts die at first level being appropriate, I think was looking when I was looking at mana mechanics for the rogue, and this is a pretty recent development, but it's like the rogue gets a D6 damage right off the bat, first level. But it's a situational. It's situational that he gets the D6. I mean, it's not a difficult situation to get that sneak attack die, but it's not unconditional. So I think where I settled with leaving the D4 at the low end and having it eventually scale up in tune with, I will pause real quick here, pan back, and where is that mechanic? No, burp, 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 burp. There. Yeah, so going in here, looking at the D4s, I'm just having it scaling to coincide with the max key limit that you can have for being a half caster. If I just have that clip along, that feels smoother, and at the top end here, the D12 doesn't fall off nearly as badly, and it helps pace out a little bit better. Like, you wouldn't be getting a D8 until 11 here, and then you wouldn't be getting a D10 until here, and you never even get a D12 off of the standard book. And that's a pretty minor change that folks can completely ignore if they really think that this guy shouldn't hit better than the D12 at 4th tier. But the low end here, it hurt feeling that it had lower martial arts damage during the 1st tier. But again, it'd be competing in the conditional space that a rogue gets, and I'm not looking to increase the power of the rogue, so I don't want to have this scale and outpace where the rogue is at as a default feature. Allowing them to have more weapon flexibility is an easy way to make the combat more effective, to hit harder, just by giving them the option of having a better weapon. So, but leaving flurry of blows requiring that light one-handed property, or to mitigate the extra attacks that you can get with the flurry, that's a fair compromise, because you cannot swing a daisho quickly. It just doesn't happen. So it doesn't make sense that you would have just like a carte blanche. All weapons can use flurry of blows. Implementing that light property still makes sense for that piece. So anyway, I just wanted to show that real quick, and I've got some revisions that still need actually that needs to change. So I'm going to leave that as a blemish and get back to work. So I was originally thinking D6 was the right answer, but it isn't. It isn't. I need to do this. The further and further into serious design and looking at other classes. See, this project started because I'm working on I've got this casual design experience I'm going with, implementing mana for all the martial classes and cleverly titling it martial mana to implement color mana into martial characters. If I can be a little bit more redundant in this conversation for y'all. So what that's having me do is looking at the power balance between the martials and the half casting classes to see where their power points hit, like how do they scale as you proceed through different levels, and what am I going to be able to do to unify them. And the ultimate goal of the book is to be able to take any martial archetype and convert them into a color mana paradigm, so that tables that want to use color mana or elemental key or other magic paradigms have a ubiquitous system to be able to implement that decision. So, like, if you wanna play a rune knight, and instead of using the rune system, if you want to use a mana system, that is one of the primary objectives. So that foreshortening is just not where I think I actually want it to be. I'm gonna have to come in here and do a little bit of surgery. But that investigative process of seeing how can these mechanics unify That's what led me to wanting to quote unquote fix the monk. But the further in I go and the more I test out numbers and play with the feel, I've become less and less interested in fixing it like it's wrong. It's just understanding the decisions that are being made for each of the classes. And I don't think they, even now as the game continues to evolve, I don't think any of the design decisions are wrong. I just think I just don't think it's so. You have to think about what do you do to adjust for the power creep that's inside of the game to keep all the options viable, and converting things to a more fluid mana system allows. Well, a lot of people don't necessarily like how mana is the unifying mechanic among all the classes. Like if I wanted to, I guess the playtest said that Battle Master maneuvers were too complicated and didn't allow somebody to just pretzel beer their way through an adventure as a no thought fighter. Although I will argue that that no thought process is actually better implemented by Barbarian. Because Hulk smash. But I digress. I'm not. I don't think anything about the monk is wrong, except for maybe stunning. Maybe stunning strike is wrong. But you take what's in the system and instead of throwing it away and trying to replace it, I really just want to get in a place of approaching the resources that the class or subclasses have, and how that resource management can be a way to stay current with power. Like Frenzied Berserker, for example, gaining exhaustion at the end of a rage for the benefit of having an attack as a bonus action. Maybe that made sense around 13th level when they're getting extra critical dice, but they don't have anything that really scales up their critical, so there's no real need to punish them for having the extra attack. If they had a scaling critical effect that they're able to crit more easily, maybe a harsh penalty like exhaustion would make sense to have a setback for how often they're critting, but they aren't critting that much more often. Fighter is going to be critting a lot more often, simply from the fact that fighters have more attacks automatically baked in to their core class scaffold. So giving them some sort of giving a fighter a penalty for being able to make a bonus attack at will, maybe that would actually make sense, but it's not on flavor with this Berserker idea that they allocated to the Barbarian. So, like, if you're going to quote unquote fix the Barbarian, looking at is there actually a penalty these days? Is there actually a penalty necessary for gaining an extra attack? Or rather, using your bonus action at will as a bonus attack. I think the design space has moved on, and that just being just a class feature unto itself. Yeah, you can make a bonus attack. You can use your bonus action to make an attack. Like, you don't need to penalize that. If they had a scaling crit, like Heavy Arms Gunslinger, which you can use resources and action economy to continue scaling up. like the crit, the number you have to roll to score a crit drops from 20 to 19, 18, 17. And so that has a power balance. But Barbarian doesn't get any of that power balance. So it doesn't really make sense to penalize them. Anyway, that's my own, that's like a super specific example of like where my design philosophy goes. Your miles may vary. Where am I at on time? 7:45. Okay, this is coming along. It's not. It'll take I probably only need another hour to get this guy finished up. I'm fine with that. There. So I'll probably end up working on this later on tonight. Get this character done and then finish up. He's obviously a lot cleaner than how she had started, so it'll be an easier process. I probably only need an hour for the ice. And then the Dro's coming along. I don't know. Dro, she's looking pretty good. Durger, yeah, he's not great, but I mean, they can't all be home runs. Leave me alone. Can't all be home runs. Just get the job done. Get the point across. Make the illustration. Make the illustration. Visualize what's going on the page. That's the biggest advantage of being able to do custom art for the products that you're producing, is that instead of trying to find stock art that's going to fit the bill, use that time to just produce the art. I mean, if you spend the 30 years ahead of time to get to where you can actually do that, then that's ultimately a better decision than the time invested in finding pre-existing stock art. And plus, I can package this stuff and send it out for folks to use as well. And big thanks to Instructor Boy for using my landscape art. It's really cool when I see something pop up on DTRPG or the DMsGuild that uses the art that I have packaged for people to use. It feels good. It feels good to be able to provide it at a really low price, so it's affordable, because the margins on these things are pretty tight. So if I'm going to save money by making art, then I can help other people save money by making the art affordable to attain as well. So I'll eventually get a Patreon set up where I can just dump art for folks to grab as a monthly subscription, and I think that'll ultimately pay me off pretty well, and it'll be a good use of I got like 140 assets at this point, I think, that I can convert into stock art. It's the cataloging and the packaging of it and the cleanup. I think that's so intimidating. I just want to make another book. There's like so many books I want to make, and as a part-time hustle, it's so impossible to actually get it all done. This foot is absolutely wrong. So luckily I've got maybe another 30 or 40 years, God bless it, I'll be able to do this. So I'm technically not in a rush. The artwork is actually the lowest priority. What I am in a rush to do is to get all the mana mechanics and the summoning mechanics, get all that stuff in place, so that I can start speaking to all these different card ideas. Like all the magic cards can be converted once I get all the classes converted, and have unified summoning mechanics implemented. So that's my holy grail, getting all that stuff set up. So whenever they put out a new book, I should be able to move fast enough to have all these things in place. So like when they do drop Zendikar, for example, I can have the tech in place already to start deep diving into like core classes, like KOR, core, and their culture, and be able to properly express them in color. it's the reluctance that Wizards has in introducing color mana language into the books that they're producing that compels me to get this stuff done so much. Because I recognize that they're probably building something with their Magic team, but it could take them years to implement it. And if I can get all these things off my plate, not only am I able to have a conversation about how to implement these things, but I can move on to other things. Like there's a lot of there's stuff I want to do with Modrons. There's stuff I want to do with Mimics. There's a bunch of adventure toolkits I want to build, like hex crawls. I want to be able to convert the various published adventures that they have out into different format, into different objectives, like attacking dragons in Dragon Heist. I want to be able to attack the dragon with a bunch of city guards in Waterdeep, and that's not something that's really supported right now by the adventure. They really encourage you just to not do that. But only because 5th edition is so horrible about dealing with large tactical combat, and I respect what MCDM has done with Strongholds and their follower books that they're implementing. But it's pretty clear that they're not really interested in maintaining and pursuing the 5e IP, because he's a large enough machine that he shouldn't. He should be building his own role-playing game, and I think we're seeing him taking steps in that direction. But I want to stay in the color mana space. I want to stay with MTG stuff in D&D, so I have to operate within the IP. And so I'm incentivized to create mass combat rules that actually are smooth, that work well on 5e, so that you can look back to the 1st edition Red Box days where they assume that you're going to be running around with a ton of hirelings, and I want to be able to recreate that feeling and be able to approach what modern 5e mechanic and adventure design is, and be able to have that option in place, and the stuff that's it's not ready yet. Obviously, once the development is done and we get it back from editing, then I'll be able to start I'll start being able to do mass combat artwork here, and I'll be able to talk about it ad nauseum. But all things in due time. So that was my alarm to get done and get a new pot of coffee and start the corporate gig, and pay homage to local businesses that help me keep my lights on. And but I'm pretty pleased. I'm pretty pleased with how that's progressed. I can futz with this probably for another hour, and it'll be good to go. So hopefully this was something that folks enjoyed. Fire in place there. Let's drop the text back in so we can see where that's at. Let's get our background back in place, and yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with where that's at. So thanks for the journey. I appreciate folks coming along, supporting what I'm trying to do here, and I'm just going to keep at it until it's done, and then we'll publish it, and then by then I should have development done for some of the Eberron adventure. Like, I should have the first act of the Eberron adventure that I've been working on. That should be kicking out to edits probably by the end of the month, and I think the front end of the mass combat system that's being built, I think that's going to be cleaned up, and be able to have that hand off to edits as well. So I'm going to have a lot of stuff in Q1 2022 that I'm going to be rolling out. That's it's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, so thanks a lot for everybody that stuck around, and I'm killing streams, so